بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فكلوا مما ذكر اسم الله عليه إن كنتم بآياته مؤمنين وما لكم ألا تأكلوا مما ذكر اسم الله عليه وقد فصل لكم ما حرم عليكم إلا ما اضطررتم إليه وإن كثيرا ليضلون بأهوائهم بغير علم إن ربك هو أعلم بالمعتدين وذروا ظاهر الإثم وباطنه إن الذين يكسبون الإثم سيجزون بما كانوا يقترفون ولا تأكلوا مما لم يذكر اسم الله عليه وإنه لفسق وإن الشياطين ليوحون إلى أوليائهم ليجادلوكم وإن أطعتموهم إنكم لمشركون صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Surah Al-An'am, these are the famous ayat of Surah Al-An'am where the rulings of Halal and Haram have been given. So yesterday, connecting with the ayah that we did, ayah 116, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had said, given a general rule that if you follow most people, then most people generally follow their own desires and whims and do not have fear of Allah. So majority is generally going in the wrong direction, and if you follow them, then you lose the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in respect to this general rule, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about one specific thing, and the background of these ayat that I recited today up to innakum la mushrikun, ayah 121, the background according to Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anh is that a group of mushrikeen, they came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they came to some Sahaba actually, and the Sahaba came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they came with a question which had no intent but to confuse and put ambiguity in the minds of Muslims. The question was that why do you eat animals that you kill yourself but do not eat an animal that is killed by Allah, by your Lord? If an animal which is basically dies of its natural causes, the death is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so you don't eat that animal, but you are ready to eat that animal which is killed by your own hands. So why is that? So the Sahaba came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then Allah sent down these ayat. First is a very clear order, فَكُلُوا مِمَّا ذُكِرَ اسْمُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ. Eat from that upon which the name of Allah has been invoked when slaughtering. In kuntum bi ayatihi mu'minin, if you do believe in His verses, if you are a believer. So in these ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has hinted at the logic behind permissibility of eating the animal which is slaughtered, and impermissibility of eating the animal which is not slaughtered, dies of its own cause. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not given an absolute direct answer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asserted that if you have believed in Allah, the book of Allah, and the Prophet to be His Prophet, then very quietly accept what the Prophet tells you. This is the reality is, the thing is that logic and arguments and proofs and evidences, they are given to prove His prophethood. Once you have believed, once you have come to terms with the fact that He is a prophet, now because He is a prophet, whatever He says you have to follow, and you will not be told the logic of behind each and every tiny command. If somebody comes to you and says that such and such command of the Prophet of Allah goes against his own general principles, then an answer would be given to them. But in the case of mushrikeen, they were not coming with any such thing. They were just coming with a bizarre question that Allah kills someone, you don't eat them, and you kill them with your own hands and you eat them. So the answer is not given in direct, clear terms by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has hinted here, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, فَكُلُوا مِمَّا ذُكِرَ اسْمُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ. The name of Allah is taken. The name of Allah can be taken, it is generally understood that the name of Allah can only be taken when an animal is consciously slaughtered. And the next ayah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا, the ayah 121, وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا مِمَّا لَمْ يُذْكَرِ اسْمُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ. The one upon which the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not been taken, do not eat it. So this tells that slaughtering is that act which makes things permissible. The logic behind it is that slaughtering is that act which brings out, by the action of the pumping of the heart, the blood in that animal. Because when you slaughter at the neck, the chief blood vessels of the body, which are directly connected with the heart and returning the blood of majority of the body, from those blood is pumped out. Blood is pumped out. So when slaughtering at the neck, the blood which is najis or impure, blood is najis and impure, it is impermissible to drink blood, to eat blood. It is full of diseases from a scientific perspective. But that blood is pumped out if an animal is slaughtered at the neck. This is the logic behind Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling Muslims to slaughter at the neck and do not eat anything that is not slaughtered at the neck. Even if somebody hunts an animal, they are supposed to slaughter that animal after they catch it. They catch their hunt. The other thing is that the name of Allah adds barakah, adds blessing to that animal that is slaughtered. An animal that dies out of its natural causes, the name of Allah is not taken on its death or when its life is taken, so that animal will not have any barakah. These are the chief reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the rulings of halal and haram. That halal is pure, clean, healthy, and it has abundance from a internal, from a hidden, from a secret, from a batini perspective, from a ruhani spiritual perspective. It has plenty and barakah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the reasons. Now what are the rulings of halal and haram? We have repeated those multiple times and we should all know them by heart. That number one, that animal, it has to have the capacity to become halal if slaughtered properly. For example, swine can never become halal because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has made it haram. If somebody takes the name of Allah and slaughters a swine at its neck, it is not going to become halal. Similarly, animals that are predators, such as a lion or those kind of other animals, they, even if they are slaughtered, they do not have the intrinsic capacity to become pure. So these are not permissible. So the first condition, only those animals who have the capacity to become halal, and the list is there, generally goats and cattle, they have the capacity to become halal if slaughtered properly. The second condition is that the person who slaughters has to be either a Muslim or a true person of the book, which is a true Christian or a true Jewish person who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and by their acts and by their words and do not imply that they have no belief in Allah, they have no belief in God, and they are just Christians or Jews by name, because just because of name. No, they have to be real Christians who actually believe in the Bible, who actually believe in the Torah, because slaughtering and taking the name of Allah is the same in those religions as well. Third condition is that animal, when at the time of slaughtering, the name of Allah should be taken. Either if it's a kitabi, a person of book, a Jewish person or a Christian, or a Muslim, they have to take the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while slaughtering. If the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not taken, then that animal does not become permissible. Imam Hanifa rahimahullah, our Imam, Imam al-A'lam, he has said that if a Muslim is slaughtering an animal and it is known, it is understood that he believes in Allah and he's slaughtering it in the name of Allah, then he actually does not take the name of Allah, it is permissible. But if he remembers and chooses consciously to not take the name of Allah, then even an animal slaughtered by a Muslim will also become impermissible and haram. The fourth condition is that when slaughtering, the animal should lose its life by the act of slaughtering. So the animal should not have lost its life before the act of slaughtering, such as been stunned to death or been in any other way electrocuted to death or any other ways, but the animal should lose its life by the act of slaughtering. And the way of slaughtering is that 4 vessels have to be cut, severed: the windpipe, the food pipe, and the 2 blood vessels that run aside the trachea or the windpipe. So all 4 have to be severed that constitutes slaughtering. From a scientific perspective as well, this is the least painful way for an animal to give up its life, because it cuts the blood supply to the brain. So it is as if unconsciousness takes over the animal, and it feels the least pain. So it is the most merciful way of slaughtering an animal as well. So if those conditions are found, then that animal will be called halal and permissible and consumable by a Muslim. If not, it is not halal, it is not permissible. And people, in the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, people will continue to create confusions about this, but Allah has given you those commands. These are very clear commands. There is no ambiguity in them. Now if some people come to you and try to confuse you and create confusions in your mind, stop listening to them, basically. So in the next ayah, وَمَا لَكُمْ أَلَّا تَأْكُلُوا مِمَّا ذُكِرَ اسْمُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ وَقَدْ فَصَّلَ لَكُمْ مَا حَرَّمَ عَلَيْكُمْ إِلَّا مَا اضْطُرِرْتُمْ إِلَيْهِ. Another very important commandment here: what should cause you to avoid eating of that upon which the name of Allah has been invoked in the way that has been prescribed, while He has spelled it out to you all that He has made that which He has made unlawful for you. So haram is clear, halal is clear. إِلَّا مَا اضْطُرِرْتُمْ إِلَيْهِ, except that you are compelled by an extreme necessity. And that extreme necessity is that if somebody is dying of hunger, and if they partake of some haram, even that only that quantity of haram which will enable them to survive, that quantity of haram can be partaken. Ulama have said that it still is haram, but the sin of haram is taken away, because in that exigent circumstance, and only in that exigent circumstance, the sin of haram is taken away. That food still remains haram. And when something is haram, you cannot give it to even animals to eat, let alone non-Muslims. Some people think that these rules are only for Muslims. For a Muslim, they have to serve halal. They have to serve the neat and the best thing for the humanity. A Muslim cannot be satisfied with good and perfection for their own self and not care about the others. So Islamic Sharia requires that if a Muslim is serving food, they have to serve halal even to a non-Muslim, even to birds, and even to animals who pick up food from the ground. If you are picking it up and serving it to them, it has to be halal. You cannot even give haram, a najis or impure thing, to eat to even these animals. So how could somebody say that we are going to serve haram food or unlawful food to non-Muslims? This is simply not possible. This is simply not allowed. This also answers the question where people say that we are living in a society where there is not many opportunities of halal. So this is an absurd logic. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying إِلَّا مُضْطُرِرْتُمْ إِلَيْهِ, when there is exigent circumstances, not by filling your stomach and because of your taste. No, when you have exigent circumstances, which is you are dying and you take a few morsels, so that you could live another day, so that you can find some permissible thing to eat. وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا لَيُضِلُّونَ بِأَهْوَائِهِمْ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. Allah, there is surely many who will misguide you, who are misguiding people on the basis of their desires without having knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is as if this relates to a specific happening, these people who are trying to put you in confusion, but reality is that this is true till the day of judgment in the matter of halal and haram, one of the most discussed, one of the most talked about topics. But the rulings of Allah are very, very clear. People will keep on coming and people will keep on trying to find ways. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us the reality of those things, that they are basically trying to fulfill their desires, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that the majority is going to do that. The majority is going to do that. You have to be particular about your own self. وَإِنَّ كَثِيرًا لَيُضِلُّونَ بِأَهْوَائِهِمْ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِالْمُعْتَدِينَ. Allah is the one who for sure who knows best, the best knower of those who cross the limits of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَذَرُوا ظَاهِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَبَاطِنَهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, leave the outward and the inner sin. So if you do not believe in the rulings of halal and haram, you are going out of the fold of Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made something haram, you are calling it halal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it halal, you are calling it haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying this is a sin to not have that aqidah, to not have that belief, is also going to affect your spirituality. And especially in the matters of halal and haram, the consumption of what you are putting in your body, through which you are going to produce things that you are supposed to do in this life, all of them are going to be affected. So your interior, your inner self and your outer self, all of them are going to be affected. This is not only a sin of the outer self, but this is a sin of the inner self and the outer self. So leave it. إن الذين يكسبون الإثم سيجزون بما كانوا يقترفون. Those who commit sin, surely they shall be punished for what they used to commit. ولا تأكلوا مما لم يذكر اسم الله عليه وإنه لفسق. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is repeating, do not eat any meat over which the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not been taken. This is surely a sin. وإنه لفسق. وإن الشياطين, the shayateen, the Satans, the evil people among the humans and the jinn kind, لَيُوحُونَ إِلَىٰ أَوْلِيَائِهِمْ, they will keep on putting it in the minds and hearts of their friends, لِيُجَادِلُوكُمْ, that they come to you and they fight you over this matter of halal and haram, they argue with you. This is the shayateen among the jinn and the ins, that they are putting in the minds of their friends to come and fight with you over these things, these matters. وَإِنْ أَطَعْتُمُوهُمْ, and if you start following them, إِنَّكُمْ لَمُشْرِكُونَ, you will also become mushrikeen. You will also become people of no faith, or the people who have made partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from all major and minor sins. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us those who really care about our deen and realize about these sins that we are committing. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from it. Amin ya Rabbil Alameen. اللهم اجعلنا من أهل القرآن الذي أهلك وخاصتك. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. صلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.